There is a dress hanging in someone's wardrobe. It still has the price tag on it. They bought it 3 years ago for a special occasion. They're still waiting. Somewhere else, there is a notebook with only the first page written, a camera sitting in its box, a passport that has never been stamped, a business idea trapped inside someone's phone notes, a guitar covered in dust, a dream that has been waiting for the right time. The strange thing is, none of these people planned to give up. They were only waiting. Waiting until life became less busy. Waiting until they had more money. Waiting until they felt more confident. Waiting until they were finally ready. But what if the life you're waiting to begin has already begun? Most of us don't notice this trap because it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels responsible. It sounds like planning. It sounds like being patient. I'll start next month. I'll travel after I save a little more. I'll spend more time with my family after this busy season. I'll chase my dream when life settles down. Those words feel harmless until 1 month becomes 1 year, and 1 year quietly becomes 10. When we're children, we're taught to look forward. Things will get better when you're older. So, we wait. Then, we're told life begins after school. We graduate. Then we're told success comes after getting a good job. We find one. Then we hear life gets better when we earn more money. When we get married. When we buy a house. When we become parents. When the children grow up. When we retire. There always seems to be another finish line. And somehow, the life we've been waiting for keeps moving further away. Psychologists have noticed something interesting about the human mind. Our brains love certainty. The future feels safe because we can imagine it however we want. Today's problems disappear in tomorrow's fantasy. We tell ourselves that one day, we'll finally have time. One day, we'll finally relax. One day, we'll become the person we've always wanted to be. But tomorrow has a strange habit. It keeps becoming another tomorrow. Sometimes we don't postpone life because we're lazy. We postpone it because we're afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of discovering we're not as talented as we hoped. Waiting feels safer than trying. As long as the dream stays inside your head, it can never disappoint you. But it can never become real either. Think about how many times you've said these words. I'm just waiting for the right moment. The question is, what does the right moment actually look like? Will there be a morning when everything is perfect? No bills, no responsibilities, no fear, no uncertainty. Probably not. Life has never worked that way. Yet many of us spend years expecting it to. Look around. There are parents waiting until work becomes less stressful before taking their children on that trip they keep talking about. There are friends who haven't seen each other in years because they're both too busy. There are people staying in jobs they no longer enjoy because leaving feels risky. There are books people keep saying they'll read, songs they'll learn, businesses they'll start, letters they'll write, apologies they'll make, phone calls they'll return, dreams quietly collecting dust while life keeps moving. The heartbreaking part is that life doesn't pause while we're waiting. Children grow up, parents grow older, friends move away, the people we love change. So do we. Time keeps walking, even when we stand still. One of the greatest illusions we believe is that ordinary days don't matter. We think life is made of big moments. Graduations, weddings, promotions, birthdays. But if you look back at your happiest memories, you'll notice something surprising. Many of them weren't planned. A late-night conversation, laughing until your stomach hurt, a road trip that almost didn't happen, a meal shared with someone you missed today, a quiet evening when nothing extraordinary happened. Life isn't only found in milestones. It's hidden inside ordinary Tuesdays, inside morning walks, inside family dinners, inside conversations we almost canceled because we were too busy. Maybe that's why so many people reach the goals they spent years chasing, only to ask themselves, is this all? Because they spent so much time preparing for happiness that they forgot to practice it along the way. Our minds are funny. We often believe happiness lies somewhere ahead of us, just beyond the next achievement, the next paycheck, the next relationship, the next chapter. Psychologists call this the arrival illusion. It's the belief that reaching one goal will finally make us feel complete. And for a little while, it often does. But then the feeling fades. A new goal appears. and the chase begins again. Without realizing it, we keep moving the finish line. The problem isn't having goals. Goals give life direction. The problem is believing your life only begins after you reach them. Imagine watching a movie where the main character skips every scene because they're waiting for the ending. Yet many of us do exactly that with our own lives. We rush through mornings, ignore sunsets, miss conversations, delay joy. We keep telling ourselves, one day, as if today is only a rehearsal. But today is not a rehearsal. It's part of the story. One day, you'll look back on this season of your life. Not just the promotions, not just the achievements. You'll remember the small things, the people who made you laugh, the places you walked without realizing they'd become memories, the songs that played in the background, the ordinary moments you thought were too ordinary to matter. And that's the strange thing about life. You rarely know you're living the good old days until they've already become memories. So what does it really mean to stop waiting? It doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow. It doesn't mean spending all your savings or pretending responsibilities don't exist. It means understanding that life doesn't start after every problem disappears. It means wearing the nice clothes sometimes instead of saving them forever, calling the person you've been meaning to call, taking the photo instead of worrying how you look, starting before you feel completely ready, making room for joy even in busy seasons. Because perfect timing is something we often invent, real life is messy. It always has been, and it always will be. There will always be another bill, another challenge, another reason to postpone. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll spend your whole life waiting. Perhaps the biggest tragedy isn't failing. Perhaps it's reaching the end of life and realizing you spent most of it preparing to live. The truth is, life doesn't send invitations. It doesn't knock on your door and say, "This is the perfect moment. You may begin now." It quietly passes through ordinary mornings, simple conversations, unexpected laughter, small acts of courage, and days that don't seem important until they're gone. Maybe the life you've been waiting for isn't hiding somewhere in the future. Maybe it's already here, waiting for you to notice it. Because the greatest trap isn't living the wrong life. It's spending the right one waiting for it to begin.